So I have to blank this tree, which means that it's dead, so it doesn't need water anymore. So I'm going to put in pipe that doesn't have holes in it. That way it doesn't get water, because it's all gross and muddy and it was flooded this morning. So I'm going to cut out the pipe that has holes in it and replace it with pipe that doesn't have holes in it. That way this tree doesn't get water anymore because it's dead. Because almond trees are very sensitive to water. It's something I didn't know until I started working here. So it's just this tree that I'm doing. This one that's next to it still has some leaves, so I'm going to leave it. But I'm going to blank from where it starts to partway there. Which you won't be able to see all of it, but I thought maybe this would be interesting. But what I did think I'd do is tell you some funny farm work stories while I'm doing this, because I'm working by myself today and I'm in kind of a chatty mood. So, where to begin? Well, on my 4th ever day working, so I started on a Thursday. That Monday, I was doing something called flushing, where you open the ends of the pipes, because there's a high pressure end and a low pressure end of every pipe. You open the low pressure end of the pipe to flush out any dirt and to get the chemicals all the way through the pipe so that the trees are getting all of the stuff that they need. So that's things like fertilizer, there's bleach in there for some reason, all kinds of stuff. I was cleaning out a pipe, and this big squiggly thing came squirming out. And I looked at it and I thought, oh my gosh, it's the biggest worm I've ever seen. And got really excited because I thought it was a really big worm, and I'm secretly 6 years old at heart. So I picked up the worm like an idiot, because I'm in Australia and I should have guessed that whatever is here wants to kill me. So I pick up this worm, and lo and behold, it's not a worm, it's actually a baby brown snake. And fun fact about baby venomous snakes is that the babies are more venomous than the adults, because the adults can control how much venom they release. The babies can't. So I realize what it is relatively quickly, because it's wiggling a lot, and I grab a hold of its little head, and that's when I take a look at its face, and I notice that it is indeed not a worm, but a snake. And the girls that I was working with are a couple of rows away from me, and I scream really loud because I don't actually know if it's a venomous snake, but I'm guessing it is because we're in Australia. So I scream, they run, come find me, and they're like, what's in your hand? And so then I tell them, it's a snake. And I'm, screaming, I go, what do I do with it? What do I do with it? Do I kill it? Do I throw it? Like, I don't really want to hurt it. Like, I do like snakes. I had pet snakes as a kid. I was a huge Steve Irwin fan, so I don't exactly want to just kill this snake, right? But they basically said to throw it, because if it bit me, I'd die, because the babies just release any venom that they have in them. It's not even like the adults, where sometimes they bite you and then nothing happens. Like, I know someone here in town that got bitten by a brown snake and it didn't kill him. So it can happen, but not with the babies. And the nearest hospital that has a snake venom capabilities is an hour away. So if you get bitten, you're SOL, man. Anyway, so I'm looking at this snake, they're screaming, I'm screaming, so I throw it into the almonds, and then I run away. And I didn't tell anybody that I've worked with. In fact, I don't think I have told anybody that I worked with, except the people that saw me that day, because I didn't want to get in trouble for doing something stupid, like grabbing a moving creature out of a pipe when I live in Australia, which has some of the deadliest animals in the world. So instead, I just didn't tell anyone, except my parents, and now you. So that's story number 1. Oh, I can tell you how I got my nickname. So my nickname here at work is Mud Rat. And I got that nickname because I always am covered in mud. Literally always. Like, I get muddy doing the simplest things, I think because I'm clumsy, but also because I'm impatient. So, like, if I have to walk around a puddle or walk through it, I pick walk through it 9 times out of 10, because who cares? It's just mud. But also, I'm just very clumsy. So like the other day, I was doing what I'm doing now, except I was just fixing a leak, so I didn't have to put in extra pipe. I just needed to connect 2 ends of a pipe. And oh my goodness, it was so difficult, and it was really hard to get the joiner into the pipe. and I couldn't get it, and it was really, really frustrating. And I just, oh my gosh, I ended up leaning forward, putting like all of my body weight on the clip, or on the joiner, trying to get it into the pipe, and I ended up falling like chest first into the mud. So a job that like shouldn't have gotten me very muddy ended up completely covering me in mud, like basically from basically from the boot of my toe all the way up to my shoulders, which like normally getting mud on like your knees and stuff is normal, but not all the way up your shoulders, which is just insanity. But like I said, very clumsy, and just like I was leaning forward a lot, so there was just no hope really. No hope at all. And I'm always muddy for a mixture of being impatient, not wanting to walk around the puddles, and also being incredibly clumsy. So it's a mixture of those two things. Yeah. So in my video I'm going to post about like my experience overall in farm work, I mentioned that I'm not shaking as much as I was originally going to. The whole reason I agreed to stay until the end of the harvest, originally was going to be 3 or 4 weeks longer than I planned on staying, was because I was going to be making better money as a shaker, because they get paid per tree and you can go pretty fast. So the week that I was shaking, I made like something like $800 more than normal. So that's worth staying extra time, you know, like that's a lot of money. But what happened is, there has been bad weather, like not bad weather, but it got really windy, and the almonds come in we have 4 different varieties on the farm: Carmelos, Prices, Nonpareils, and Padres, I think is the last one. But so they're all intermixed with each other, they're all next to each other and stuff, and that's because they need to cross-pollinate. Because my first question was, well, why do you do that? Why do you, like, if they can't get mixed together, then why do you put them so close together? That doesn't make any sense. But it's because they have to cross-pollinate, which I guess makes sense. So what happened was, we had shaken a whole bunch of them. So they were like all on the ground. And before the machine that could pick them up off the ground, which is called a harvester, could go through, we had a really bad dust storm. So it didn't actually rain, we just had a lot of like dust and wind. And what happened was, the almonds from the other type of almond tree then got all mixed up with the Nonpareils, which were the first ones we shipped. And you have to try to keep them at less than 10% contaminated, otherwise you get less money for them when you sell them. So they had to go do this thing called back sweeping, but it's supposed to separate the nuts so that then you can harvest them and sell them not mixed. So this is drip line, and it's pipe that has holes in it so that water can get to the trees. But once a tree dies, we don't need it to get water anymore, and if it continues to get water, then the whole area floods, and that's not what we want, because then the trees next to it will die because they can drown. So what we do is we cut the pipe and we put in this, which is called a joiner. And so the drip line is 18 millimeter pipe, and so we put the side that says 18 millimeter in there. And sometimes it can be a little difficult. You have to like wiggle it in. Yep, until it's all the way in. And then we take a clip one of these little metal clips that's 19 millimeters, and we put it on there. If I can get it on. Yep, we get it on. Then we take these pliers and we clip them. Yep, just like that until you hear the click. And then it's the same thing with the other pipes. This is blank pipe, so it's just pipe that doesn't have any holes in it or anything. But it's 19 millimeters, so it's slightly bigger. So you have to put a clip on that's 20 millimeters. You put it on like this, and then this side of this joiner is 19 millimeters as well. So we wiggle it in there. And this is brand new pipe, that's why it's got this on it. So this is a brand new roll of it, so it's gonna be a little stiff. But it should be okay. And then same thing, pliers. And then I do a little trick. So these, there's one end that doesn't have like teeth and one that does. And the side that doesn't have teeth should go on the side of the clip that you're pulling towards this bit. You're not gonna be able to see it, but yes. I'm also filming without being able to see what I'm filming, so I'm hoping it's in frame because GoPro seems to do a pretty wide shot, but see, and that happens sometimes where it clicks, but it hasn't actually clicked into place. And sometimes if it's like a really hard one, I use my boot because I have to wear steel-toed boots at work, so it's like a nice hard surface to kind of push on. So it could be because there's just this tiny little extra sticker. It's making it more difficult. Oh, I can hear someone going past. I wonder who it is. I doubt that'll make a difference, but let's see. Maybe it will. Maybe that'll make all the difference. Why can't I get it? I got the other two that I did while I was just rambling to you guys. Why can't I get this one? Did I put the wrong size on? Nope, 20. Of course, now that you guys are up close, I can't do it, right? That's how it works. Maybe I'm gonna take this clip off, put it on the other way. Maybe that'll help me, because it'll, although now it's a little stretched out, which probably isn't good, but we'll see how it goes. Wow, I really can't get this one. I'm gonna cut it out because it's annoying me. So usually that doesn't happen, so I'm a little frustrated that I'm having such a hard time. So now I'm having to cut the pipe off with an X-Acto knife. Made the mistake of cutting towards myself once, but not with the X-Acto knife, with a much duller knife, so it hurt right away. Because the X-Acto knife, once I cut my thumb and it didn't hurt until it started bleeding, and then I was like, oh my god, I cut myself with the X-Acto knife. I sliced my thumb. It really hurt. Anyway, enough of Olivia being an idiot. Let's see if it'll click now. No, might be the clip. Probably is the clip. Let's get a new clip. See, this is the process I go through when I'm doing this by myself, and I don't have somebody else to say, hey, will you try this for me? Because sometimes having another person makes it easier, because they might be able to do one that I can't do, and I might be able to do one that they can't do, or whatever. But when you're alone, you don't have that option. So you just gotta do it by yourself, which is fine. Like I said, I'm kind of in a chatty mood, so it would be nice to work with someone so I could chat. But at the same time, I haven't talked to you guys in so long. You guys being, again, my mom and Riley. Hi, guys. I'm pretty sure they're the only ones that watch these videos on a regular basis. There we go. See, it was the clip. That was much easier. So now you've got these and they won't pull apart. So now I'll go to the other part of the pipe that needs to be cut off so that we're blanking out just that singular tree. So see all that mud and guck? Yeah, that's not what we want. We don't want that to be there. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how I decided to go to Vietnam. And to be perfectly honest, it was extremely last minute. I was thinking about if I wanted to start my second year in Australia right away, or if I wanted to go do some traveling first. And I was talking to Amanda, who I've featured in a couple of vlogs, including wine cheese tasting and my one that I filmed at farm work, because she finished her farm work right as I was arriving back to start mine up again in January. I was talking to her about it and I said to her, honestly, I kind of want to do some traveling before I start my second year. I just really I don't know, I don't want to settle back down into working again right now. I just kind of want to take some time to do what I want. And she basically just said, YOLO, do what you want, which was all the words of encouragement that I needed. So I'm just gonna do all of my traveling on my British passport because I think it'll just be easier because then I don't have to mess with dual citizenships or anything. And some countries don't recognize dual citizenships, like Myanmar doesn't recognize dual citizenship. So I have to be consistent when I'm doing that kind of stuff. Although I don't have plans to go to Myanmar right now, but it's good to know that there are places where you have to be consistent because otherwise it causes an issue. Like Joe, who's managing the backpackers right now, when he was going to Myanmar, he flew in on one passport and tried to fly out in another, and it caused a big hubbub, apparently. So it's good to know not to do that. So yes. So that's how you fix a pipe. Thank you for listening to me chatter away. Bye.